Today I wanted to talk about vehicles, cars, transportation. Look, y'all, a lot of people go into way too much obligation. I didn't say debt. I didn't say liabilities. I said way too much obligation with these things called cars. Now, I drove a 97 F-150 for 8 years, and it got me from A to B and some. You know what I mean? I went all around the United States with that truck. Bought it with 170,000 miles, and I think I sold it with like 240 on the dash. Now, I just picked me up another vehicle that was about less than, I won't say the exact number, but let's just say it was less than a paycheck. It was less than 2 paychecks. So I don't really spend too much on the cars, y'all. And in doing so, it has freed me up to really develop a life that I like living. See, life is quite miserable, and I'm not gonna hold you here too long today. This is really gonna be in and out, done and dusted. Them cars, y'all, it holds y'all up. It puts y'all in these weird positions where you're miserable every day because you gotta look good at the stoplight. You gotta look good at the red light. Look, y'all, I could have went and bought something 10 times the amount of that vehicle and just went pay cash for it. It would have been mine. I would have walked out the dealership or off the lot or leaving the person's home that I bought private sale. I bought that car private sale. And I'm gonna give you some game on how I go through that process of finding a good car. But I could have went and bought something that was 10 times the amount, but I did not. I'm choosing not to because there's other priorities that are higher up on that hierarchy of needs, of requirements, like a paid for home. See, I don't want to live my life in debt. I don't enjoy debt. I don't use credit cards. I don't take on loans. I don't have car loans. I don't have student loans. I have very, 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 very little financial obligations on a monthly basis. And what's that set me up to do? It sets me up to really live a life that I want to live. I don't have to worry about, I got to take this job because I got to pay these bills. Like, I don't put myself in them positions. I just don't do it. But moving on to how you really find a good car. This is how I do it. First off, I get on the hunt for a car. And I typically buy cars that are known for reliability. It doesn't have to look the best, but it just needs to be known for reliability. Think reliability when you're buying the car. Don't think, ooh, it looks good, ooh, it's shiny. Think reliability. So first I'm looking for reliability, Japanese. And from there, I'm just gonna make my way. I'm gonna make my way and I'm gonna just start looking for cars. And I'm gonna go check out a few cars, I'm gonna see what I can find out there. And, I might come across one and it might be a pretty good one. It doesn't have to be Japanese. It could be, my last car, it was a Ford, it was an American made car. But I'm really pro Japanese vehicles these days. But I'm also really pro America too. So I would say, like I started this off with, reliability. Seek reliability over anything. Don't go buy things that are going to give you a problem and be a problem in your life. So I may find one like I did. I'll walk you through the steps. I found one down in Florida. Went and looked at it. It was what I wanted. Had a few oil leaks. I was like, I'll take it and I'll pour a little bit on. I'll pour $2,000 into it. It had good mileage, less than 150. You know, I pour a little money into it, but the guy wouldn't budge on the price. So I just said, screw it. I'm not going to get the car. Then I looked at another car out in California. And the thing about it is, y'all, and the thing about it is, don't be scared to take a flight and go look at a car. Don't be scared to drive a little distance and go look at a vehicle. If you think it'll suit you well, go look at it. Spend the little 150, 250 to go take a little day trip, fly down to Florida, fly over to the next state, drive over to the next state. Just go look at the car real quick. Go do that real quick for yourself. But I'm frequent in them airports, you know. I'm really known for that. I'm like a world traveler, y'all. Not in a braggadocious manner, but I love to travel the world, and I travel the world, and I do it well. Last year, I think I traveled about 4 or 5 or 6 different countries. But I was in California for a little bit, visiting some people. And I said, I'm gonna go look at this car. You know, nice 4Runner. I said, I'm gonna go look at this car. The transmission, it was slipping a little bit. You know, I even brought somebody, and don't be scared to pour a little bit of money out there. I paid a dude to come out and look at the car, a mechanic. You know, paid him like, I think it was like $150. Come out and look at the car, you know, take it for a test drive. Like, I want to see what you think. I think it's all right, but what you think? Even if I had to replace the transmission, I'm still cool with it. For the price that I'm getting it, if I had to dump a transmission in it, I'm good to go. For some of y'all, that just seemed like too much, but for some of y'all, you know, you're probably going to be struggling financially for a very long time if you don't get your act together, especially when it comes to these freaking cars. But as we move on, I was thinking about getting that 4Runner out in California. I didn't choose to. And the thing about it is, what you really want to do, y'all, is you really want to try and buy something from a family. A car that's been in a family for a little while. Not a car off the lot that some guy got from an auction. And that's why I was being patient. I kept coming across these nice cars down in Florida, in California, and all these places. You know, I was coming across real good cars, but some was like, man, Isaac, you need to find a car from a family. And that's what I found. I was patient. I was patient, and I was patient, and I was patient, and I was patient. See, cars are really big expenses, you know. It's not something you're just gonna, you know, I don't think it should be something you just go and buy. Like, hey, I want you to go buy this car. It's $20,000. Did you do the research on it? Like, especially if you're gonna buy it from like a private owner, like, do your research on it. How many owners has it had? You know, in the car that I found, it had one owner. It had been in the family for 17 years, y'all. See, when I got there, I already knew I wanted it. I didn't have to, I looked at it. I said, yeah, it looks good. Pop the hood, looks good. Some little minor things, a little corrosion, little rust here and there. Nothing on the body, but just, you know, a little hardware, got a little hardware rust. I was like, I ain't no big deal. I didn't even have to take it for a ride. I'm going off of the specs of how it was maintained. This family's had this car for 17 years. And if you're diligent, and if you're patient, and if you're looking for reliability, and you start to seek out people that have the same mentality that you have, I just wanted a nice, reliable car that was going to get me from A to B. I pull up to the dude's house. I put the cash in his hand within 5 minutes. I said, yeah, let me get it, man. Because I understood, like, any issues I was going to come across, you know, it couldn't have been too far from the paperwork that he was keeping up to date. Dude had a whole book stack of paperwork. Now, is everybody going to have a whole stack of paperwork waiting for you there of all the transportation documents and all the maintenance documents? Nah, most people ain't going to have it. But if you're patient and you're diligent about what you're doing, you will find a few that take care of their stuff really well. And from there, you'll basically be on a path of you got to be patient, y'all. That's all you got to do. When you're patient and you're diligent, you'll find out that you'll come across these little gems. And these gems will be out there for you. They'll just be waiting out there for you. And you'll only have a few, you won't have a dozen options. There'll only be a few options. Give me a second, because I'm walking past somebody for a second. 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
So, you'll basically find a few options out here in the world. But you'll have to be patient. You'll have to be diligent about what you're doing. If you're on this path of trying to find a reliable car at an affordable price that's going to stick around for you for a long time, you got to be patient. This can't be something that, hey, I woke up today, I'm having car issues, I need to buy a car. Nah. You should have been thinking about that a long time ago, because if you were thinking about it a long time ago, it would have set you up for a clear idea of the make of car, a few different models that you're interested in. See, I'm no car guru. I'm no car guru. I'm no car specialist. I'm not a mechanic. You know, it's just something. It just seems logical that if you're gonna pour money into something that could, number one does cost a lot of money, and number two could cost you a lot of money if you don't pick the right one, you would take a lot of time and put a lot of thought into this process. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you don't wait until the last minute to buy the car. Maybe you start seeking a car, you find a car, you buy a car, you register it, put insurance on it, and then from there, you can figure out how to maybe get rid of the car that you already have. But we go through these processes of quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hey, I just need a car. Let me go buy a car. So you run to the car lot. They approve you for this much, and you say that looks good. Oh, let me get this, and I'm gonna buy this real quick. Hold on. Wait. I just need you to think and pause and take a deep breath for a second. First off, these are some of y'all buying cars that cost half your annual income. That's a big purchase. Don't you think you should think that out for a little while? Not even a day or a week, maybe a few months. You gonna spend half of your year's pay on that car? You get what I'm saying? I'm sort of waffling on right now, but I want y'all to get out of this mentality that you can just go get a car tomorrow. No, you can't just go get a car tomorrow. That ain't how this thing works. You need to plan and think and put some effort and thought. You need to if you think about buying a car, it shouldn't be, I want to buy a car next week. I want to buy a car. No, it should be like by the end of the year, I would like to bring a new vehicle into my life. That's how big of a decision this stuff is. We just bopping around in this car lot, in that car lot, get this car, get that car, don't know nothing about the car, buying new cars that hasn't been tried and tested and put through some paces and had some history, and you could go online and research and, hey, what do you think about that car? Not what does one person think about the car, because the one person might say, yeah, look good, ride good, smell good, I'm good. No, you need to get with a few dozen people and say, yo, what do y'all think about this car? Has it been reliable for y'all? We making these quick decisions, and we wonder why we broke. And you wonder why some people ain't broke. You wonder why some people ain't broke. They drive a car that fits them well. They're comfortable in it. It ain't the biggest and the baddest. It ain't the 2020 whatever. It ain't the biggest of the biggest and the shiniest of the shiny. It ain't none of that. But it gets them from A to B every day like clockwork, no issues. Change the oil, tires, good to go. And they looking at you like, what? I bought my car for a few grand. You bought your car for tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I bought my thing for a few grand, and I've had it for like what? I've had it for like half a decade, bro. I've had this car for a decade. I paid like 2 paychecks for it. I didn't pay a half year salary for the car. I didn't pay a year's salary. I paid like a half a month's worth of income for this car. And they looking at you like, yeah, I got a good car. Like, and I mean, I take all the money that I make on a monthly basis and I'm just stacking it up. Roth IRA, 401k, thrift savings plan, emergency fund, brokerage accounts where I'm just putting money into the S&P 500 because I know I want to upgrade a house in the next 12 to 15 years. You get what I'm saying? I know I want to buy a house cash in the next 8 years. In the next 10 years, I'd love to just buy a house cash for $300,000-$400,000 grand. You know what I mean? And that'd be it. You know, in the next 10 years, I want to buy a house for $300,000 grand. You know, and that's gonna cost me $30,000 grand a year. But I don't have a car payment, and I don't have credit cards, and I don't have student loans, and I don't have all this debt and all these obligations that I, you know, just. with a grin sort of signed up for and said, yeah, this is cool. Like, this ain't cool, y'all. I know I'm really waffling now, but that ain't cool to be like deeply in debt like that. Like your whole life, I don't know who really told y'all. I'll have my finance degree here real soon. They didn't teach me nothing about this stuff, y'all. I'm gonna be real with you. They taught me about assets and liabilities, debt to equity ratios and currencies and, you know, financial statements, income statements, and balance sheets. But they didn't tell me like, yo, if you want to be deeply in debt your whole life, like with credit cards and student loans and car payments and big old mortgages that you probably shouldn't have, that's stupid. They didn't say that because they can't say that because they just can't say that. But I'm here to tell you, if you plan on living your life that way, deeply in debt, you make X amount of $1,000 a month. You're making $4,000 a month, but your bills are $3,890. And that leaves you with $110 left over. Like, whoa, hold on, whoa. That don't even make sense. It don't make sense. And now I'm just preaching and waffling on even longer. But look, y'all, you can win. But like I always say, you gotta sure want to win. And wanting to win these days looks like I am going to intentionally not put myself in bondage. I'm going to intentionally not sign up for slavery. I'm going to intentionally stop borrowing money. I'm going to intentionally buy cars that I have researched and done my due diligence with over many months. I'm going to stop making these quick, rash decisions that I'm going to buy a car tomorrow. You're going to spend $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a car tomorrow. You're just going to sign up for that debt. Yeah, I'm just going to sign up for the debt tomorrow. Look, y'all, I'm out of here. You can win. But like I always say, you gotta sure want to win. Take it upon yourself. Break free from bondage. Break free from a life of debt. Break free from this mentality that I could just go and buy whatever car that I want tomorrow and put it on credit card and put it on payments and have credit cards and have all these payments every month and expect to retire with dignity. Expect to get to age 45 or 50 and have the option to say, nah, we're not going to work 12 months out of the year. We're only going to work 6 months out of the year. You're going to expect to have the option to, hey, yeah, I'd love to take my daughter to school. I'd love to ride bicycles with my daughter back and forth to school Monday through Friday and pick her up and take her to lunch and maybe even homeschool and, and go see football games for my son and go to recitals and not have to be bound to this job because I got to pay this debt and I got these financial obligations as a Tesla. That Tesla truck drives by. It's beautiful, but it's just stupid if you can't afford it with cash money and it's not a very, very small fraction of your net worth. And I mean this to the bottom of my heart. If you're buying brand new cars off the lot, that's just stupid. There's so many people out here just living this life of just misery because they're locked in, they're slave. They are Proverbs 22:7. The rich rule over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. They are slave to these lenders. They've got so many. They go out and work and bust their behind Monday through Friday and they got to pay American Distress and in the master of their life, MasterCard and Toyota Motor and Honda Motor and Ford Motor and Mercedes Motor and BMW Motor, and you expect to live a decent life. It doesn't happen like that, y'all. You're going to be miserable your entire life because you're bound to the payments of this life. You want to be free? You want to live a good life? I'd say break free from debt. Break free from a life of slavery. Stop going into debt for these metal boxes that drive down the road, just like the guy's car who maybe paid half a month's paycheck, a few $1,000s for a car that gets them from A to B, and you're driving a foolish car that costs 20 or 30,000 20 or 30 times the amount of the car that person's driving. And he gets to drive that same little cheap, inexpensive car that gets him from A to B for a decade, and you trade the thing off that you got that's mad expensive to get another thing, and then wonder why you broke your whole life. I'm telling you why you're broke, because payments are dumb. Debt is dumb. Being in debt your whole life is foolish, y'all. Just foolish. I'm out of here.